Well, hello and welcome to PM Express. And as you know, the week has ended. Christmas is just about coming. So, the conversation has to be lighter, educative, and intriguing. And that's just what I have for you. It's some sort of a personality, even though I'm not striding down somebody's gates to go and talk to them. But this time, I have them in here. We're going to talk. It's a gentleman who is not very, very old, but has done a great deal. And as the adage go, don't wait till you're old or dropped off before you celebrate them. So that's exactly what we are going to do. And this gentleman, I'm sure when it pops up on your screen, many kids and many housewives say, I know him. And I know him even before he came on the screen too. My name is Nana Zakwa the Fourth, and you want to listen to tonight's personality. Beautiful story, very nice chap. Chief of Akwamwa Dumasa. When I come back, I'm talking to this fine man, and you don't want to go away. Well, hello. Thank you very much for staying. PM Personality Profile with the one and only Dr. Padi Ayertey. Doc, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, sir.
There's a tradition here, even though probably exempt you, because for first timers on the show, Ambantamonsa, being that this is a semi-palace cum studio.
Yes.
But you're a doctor, so we'll wave it, because we never know when we'll fall sick and come. And you remind us,
I got you now.
Get me the big syringe. So we'll wave it, and I'm sure my viewers will be happy for us to wave your Ambantamsa. But Doc, normally old people, you talk to elderly people because they've done a lot. And for a small, big man, you've done a lot. And so I want to say congratulations.
Thank you.
And let me say for the record that he brought forth the Princess of Dumasa into the world. So, I mean, that's... and that famous picture you saw, that hand you saw, that was in my hand. That was doctor's hands.
My hands suddenly became very popular.
Your hands suddenly became very popular. Doc, you are Accra born?
Yes, I was born in Kolebu, actually.
Oh, and you worked in Kolebu too? And
I worked in Kolebu. I trained in Kolebu and I worked in Kolebu too. It was quite interesting.
That's quite interesting, But let's go all the way back to, when you were born. Big family?
We have 4 boys.
Wow.
I guess my father has the boy anointing, so we have 4 boys. I'm the first of 4 boys.
Mom must be lucky because boys always seem to gravitate
yes,
towards
mom. Actually, she tends to, she keeps tabs on all of us. She calls us all almost every day, no matter where you are in the world. And so she does the roll call. She has to check on her sons and make sure we are doing fine. And then she calls me to make sure that I check on the other ones too.
I see. And which was the stricter of the parents?
I think my dad was stricter. We tended to be more afraid of that which my dad was going to administer. If there was any kind of punishment that was coming, we were more worried about my dad's own. It doesn't come on a daily basis, but when it does come, we really feel it. So my dad was the stricter of the two. My mom tended to administer the smaller, more regular punishments, and my dad administered the big ones.
I see. Any of them Presbyterian?
Actually, now both are Presbyterian. My mother was originally Methodist, but joined my father in the Presbyterian church, so we did have the Presbyterian upbringing.
I think you one should look into that, the Presbyterian upbringing. I don't think it will pass into law in this day and age. It's too strict. There's too much German in it. There's too much German in it. But your dad was a scientist.
Yes, my dad is a scientist. My dad he was an entomologist. So he trained at the University of Cape Coast, went to Imperial College in London for his PhD, and then so he went from first degree to PhD. And then
was he allowed?
An exemption was made for him.
Wow.
So after 1 year of his program, it was converted to a PhD. So my dad doesn't have a master's.
Whoa.
And so from Imperial College, then he came back to Cape Coast and was a lecturer in Cape Coast, a lecturer in Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria, a lecturer in Bayero University in Kano, these are both in Nigeria, and then a lecturer in University of Ghana, and he retired a couple of years ago. He was the Dean of Graduate Studies and Hall Master for Akwafo Hall and Head of Department, and you know, he did the rounds in the University of Ghana.
Did you have to globetrot?
Yes, we did. It was quite interesting actually, because it meant that by the time I was 16, I had lived 8 years in Ghana and 8 years out of Ghana. So like almost every 2 years I was changing country. It was nice. I mean, it made us see quite a lot. If you're traveling to Ghana by road, for instance, from Nigeria, and coming from Kano, you went through all the stops. So it was a whole National Geographic tour.
I see now.
And then I remember we used to fly to Togo, because KLM was flying to Togo, and then we'll come to Ghana by road, and then go back when we were in Nigeria. So it was quite nice. The nice thing about it was that it also kind of made me relatively immune from peer pressure, because you're my friend today. In 2 years, I'll be changing country again, and so what you think didn't become too important. When your friends are doing something and you want to do something to fit in, nah, it didn't really.
Did they have a good side and bad side, or?
It was generally a good side. It's made us more cosmopolitan. It made us more tolerant of different people's cultures. It made us understand and accept people the way they are. You'll be surprised that even the way we brush our teeth in Ghana is different from the way we brush our teeth in Nigeria. My sister-in-law, who's an American, and we always have the baked beans debate as to how baked beans should be eaten. So it kind of allowed us to have different experiences in different stages of our life, and broadened our horizon. We read a lot. We experienced quite a bit, and it made us also not accept that things are done like this. The question is, but I've seen a different way, so why can't it be done in a different manner? It's one of the things I have to do for my kids, to ensure that they see quite a bit of the world, so that they also have the benefits that kind of upbringing brought to us.
I mean, this may be a silly question, but I mean, that field, that means he's an expert in insects.
Insects, yes.
Now, there are cans, always like, if you're very patient, you can dissect an ant and, get the heart out. I mean, I'm just thinking, is your daddy a very patient person?
Oh, my dad is not patient at all. My father doesn't understand why you should wait and allow a situation to work its way out. No. He must intervene and act immediately.
Really?
Oh yes.
Sorry.
No. He hasn't got that abotire at all. His students have a nickname for him. I can't remember. There's a name of a particular insect. It's a terror. So eventually they told us, I've forgotten the name now, but they had a special nickname for him just for that.
What's that name? Dr. Ayertey, obviously.
Professor Ayertey.
Professor Ayertey. And where is he now?
He's retired. So now he's doing national assignments. He's solving all kinds of problems.
Based in Accra, or?
He's in Accra.
He's in Accra.
Yeah. He told us he was going to retire in his hometown, but he's still here, and we are grateful for that. but he goes to his hometown quite a lot.
What did Mom do?
My mom was a nurse. Okay. She trained in. She did her midwifery in Kolebu. She trained in Cape Coast. That's where they met. And then she did her midwifery in Kolebu. And then worked in Ghana for a while, worked in the various places that my dad hopped to. So she worked in London, worked in Nigeria, worked in Ghana. She retired as the OPD manager, the nurse manager for Nyaho Hospital.
I mean, you didn't have a choice, is it? Your destiny was set in stone. But before I come to you, your 3 other siblings, are they all in the medical field?
My brother, the one who's just after me, he's the chief. I keep forgetting his title. He's either the chief medical officer, medical director, or something. One of the big hospitals in Atlanta.
Okay.
He's an internist, or shall I say, a hospitalist. So he works in a hospital. But when doctors see patients anywhere and the patients need admission, they send them to his hospital. Okay. And they look after the patients there and discharge them back to their doctors or their clinics. So that is what he does. He's in internal medicine. That was his chosen field. The brother after him is. He also has some title of something manager, but he's at Vodafone. And the last one is an investment analyst.
Oh, so you have two Mensahs in the family then. The last two are the Mensah. The last two are the Mensah. How did they escape the net from
medicine?
Science, from medicine,
no, nobody really. My parents never really told us what to do.
No,
my father. Okay, both parents are in the science field. Mm-hmm. My father, I mean, when I said I wanted to do medicine, he was delighted because that was his personal ambition as well. When my brother wanted to do medicine, he was delighted as well. Then when the third one was going to do something else, it was like, yeah, too many, all of you being doctors, it was going to be a problem. And then the last one went into finance, and so that is just the way it worked. So we tended to choose what we really wanted to do. He still got plenty of doctors. I mean, let me see. There's me, my brother, my sister-in-law. So if you come to the house and you make a mistake and ask for Dr. Ayertey, and my dad is there, he will ask you which one. We are 4.
Very proudly.
Very proudly.
Very proudly.
Very proudly.
So you wanted to go into medical field?
I wanted to go to medicine. It's something I knew pretty early in school. I think by the time, I'm sure by O-level, I knew I wanted to do medicine. And because I wanted to do medicine, at O-level, my dad asked, what do you want to do? He said, I want to go to medical school in Nigeria then. And he said, if you're going to go to medical school, then it has to be in Ghana. And if it has to be in Ghana, it means I need you to come at A-level. So at A-level, when I finished my O-level, I came to Ghana and was in Ghana for 1 week to find a secondary school for us. So we started from Accra and traveled westwards. And by the time we got to the end of the West, he had gotten schools for my brother and I. And then he went back. And for that year, my father would come home every 3 months. Like every vacation, he would fly to Ghana to spend 1 week with us and fly back.
Wow.
And for me, that was like one of the greatest things he ever did for us. That's, conscious effort. That every 3 months he must fly in, check on us and make sure we are okay. And then fly back, back to work.
So which school did you end up in the West?
So let's say, I went to Ayertey College for Form 1.
Okay.
I left to Nigeria to Federal Government College in Kano. It was very difficult to get in. You had to write an exam, and I was an expert 2 on top, and there were quotas, and it was very difficult to get in. And I was the only foreigner in boarding house.
Wow.
In that big school. And then, so I was there in boarding house till Form 5. Then when I came to Ghana, I went to GSTS in Takoradi. Okay. And GSTS is either engineering or medicine when I was there. So, my brother went to Ayertey College and also went to GSTS for 6th form.
Nigerian school and a Ghana school, I mean, major difference or same thing, different locations?
Oh no, there were differences. I think we're not here in Nigerian schools. Nigerians do everything for lack of a better word, let's say in larger proportions, like Texan proportions. Everything must be done in grants. Yeah, so it was kind of normal. Some of the things that you do, then here in Ghana, to be like, but this is a bit crazy. I mean, if you're standing on the first floor and your headmaster appears on one end of the corridor and you are too far from your classroom, you are stuck. Rather than get caught, people will jump down. They just jump over the balcony from one floor, down.
Whoa.
If when we were in school, there was something called chasa, and if you went to the club and you got into a fight with somebody, before he would throw a blow, he would take out a knife and cut himself, and then give you the knife. Now, if you cut yourself, we can fight. If you can't cut yourself, you've lost the fight already, so start begging. But if he can do this to himself, what can he do to you? Those interesting times. Don't worry, I was not found in such places. but it was nice. I had a classmate whose father owned an airline.
Okay.
Yeah. When his father died, when Form 5, he inherited $2 million. It was normal. And he sits in class with you like everything is normal. But when they are going home, like a vacation, either some of them will just, your father comes to pick you or you take a bus. Some other people, they bring a whole big vehicle, and some other people, they just buy, tickets. Or you and your friends come over and,
But I guess it's a good exposure.
No, it is. We went to Dan Tata's house. Dan Tata is Dangote's.
Of course.
His uncle.
Uncle, yeah.
Yes. We went to his house. And the lady went to visit, who took us to the house, bought so many gifts for us that she had to buy suitcases for us to put the gifts in. And my father asked, what should we do to the suitcases when we get back? The woman said, cut it and use it to make stew. we went to Dan Tata's house to visit his wife, and the living room was bigger than some people's houses.
Oh.
With golden chairs all along the line. I was about 9 years, and so 3 of us, myself, my brother, and who was 7, and another kid that they had in the house. When they gave us lunch, it was a tray of potatoes and 1 full chicken for 3 children under 10. Went to a party in Sokoto. We chewed so much meat, our jaws hurt. When Nigeria those days was interesting.
It's a good memory, though.
No, it is. It is.
I mean, so when you came to Ghana, did you miss Nigeria, or you were happy to be home?
I was happy to be
More
home
tamer
because I was
lifestyle.
back home in Ghana. I'd been a foreigner for several years, but there were some things that I didn't understand. I didn't understand why we had to go for extra classes. That time extra classes was a big deal in Ghana. In Nigeria, I never went for extra classes. You went to school, you wrote your exams, you passed. End of story. What's this extra classes business? That's compulsory extra classes. It was always a challenge, for me. And I was like, I'm here to study. I'll study in Apas. But then you realize that if you didn't do the extra classes, some of the subjects in the syllabus were deliberately kept for the extra class. And the teacher will not teach it in the class properly. It was,
If you don't go to the extra
class, you're not going to.
You miss out on it.
Yes.
But I wanted to ask you this before I forget. I mean, that moving from first degree to master's means, in Ghana terms, big time shabrain.
Oh, my dad is smart.
I mean, did any of the 4 kids become shabrain? You look like a shabrain. You sound like a shabrain.
Well, I think we're pretty okay.
What age did you write O level?
Well, I wrote O level at 16.
So I wrote a shabrain.
I wrote A level at 18. I went to university the next year. I graduated as a specialist at 34.
Really?
Yes.
So you're shabrain. You definitely took my father's son. I am my father's son. How was medical school? Is it as hard and tedious as it sounds, or for us who have all this dyslexia business? I just wonder. I don't know, you freak certificate. You want to check into me?
No, if you are dyslexic and you are in medical school, you struggle. The thing about med school is tough. Med school is like the toughest experience that I've ever been through.
Wow.
Yeah. And postgraduate is worse. But med school, here's the thing. The information is a lot. The lecturers don't dictate. They speak. They just
How come your handwriting?
No, handwriting is bad because he's just speaking. He's just going and this thing. And then they show you things, and sometimes you can't see it, and he tells you, well, with an eye of faith, you can see something over here, and just imagine it and keep going. Nobody's waiting for you. Pass mark was 50%. Everybody else's pass mark was 40%. And we had -1. -1 meant if you guessed and you got it wrong, they'll take a mark from the existing marks that you had. In other words, med school was pretty regimental. You are supposed to do things in a particular way, and you are punished for using the different routes.
Wow.
Oh yeah, you are consistently punished. So innovation is pretty well beaten out of you by the time you finish med school. And the reason is because, apart from traditional experience, it's also because we are living a life where we are dealing with human beings. You can't do things your way. You have to do things the proven way. And if everybody was doing things their own way, people would die. So we understand why it is done that way, but it's tough. You can go to an exam, and when you get to the clinical exam, there really isn't a marking scheme. So you can get one thing wrong, and that's it. You failed. You can get everything right and get one thing wrong, and you failed.
Wow.
There's a lecturer that used to draw the curtains in the room. If you enter to examine the patient and you don't open the curtains, you failed. He can push the bed against the wall, but you must examine the patient from one side. So if you are left-handed and you go and examine from the wrong side, you failed. And if you push the patient against the wall and you come and you don't want to disturb the patient and you stand on the wrong side to examine the patient, you failed.
Wow. So it's regimental.
Oh, it is regimented.
I mean, Is anybody cut out for medicine, or there are people who are cut out for medicine?
I think some people shouldn't do medicine. There's some guy who we knew, brilliant guy. He could always find a new way of doing something, mathematically or this. He was brilliant. And he just couldn't survive the whole you can't do it another way thing. And it was really sad. And we need to find ways to encourage those kinds of people that, yes, you are brilliant, but I don't think this is for you. You understand? And medicine, the profession, it's so tough that you must love it to do it.
Yeah.
If you don't love it, it will show. You must be ready to wake up at 2 a.m. to go and solve somebody's problem for the satisfaction of that patient's problem, that the problem has been solved. That is why you are doing it. And it may even cost you money to do it for the person with no pay. And you still be happy to do it. If you can't do it, it's so difficult to practice that if you don't love it, you'll be depressed. And life is too short to be doing a job that makes you unhappy.
I agree. But see, in other jurisdictions, people can do arts and this and then switch and then go and do. But I mean, here it's physics, chemistry, biology.
It's changed a little bit.
It's changed a little bit.
Now we are doing graduate entry.
Okay.
Now you're doing graduate entry. So even Kolebu is doing graduate entry, Family Health School doing graduate entry. I think the Accra City Medical School too is doing graduate entry. And that means you can do a degree in something else and then come in to do medical school. I don't know exactly what their basic requirements are, but once with that method, we can actually expand it bit by bit. In America, you write the MCAT, which is a medical-based exam, and once you pass it, you can get entry into medical school. But we are getting more graduate entry people who have done some other course for first degree and are coming to do a 4-year program in medicine.
This, profound thing you're talking about, waking up at 2 a.m. and probably, using your own, it's actually going to cost you to go and look after someone. So I always used to be frustrated when they focus too much on the, 7A student, the 7A student, the 7A student, because it could be an 8A student with absolutely no empathy.
Yes, precisely. And that kind of person will be dangerous. He'll kill people.
But is the attitude changing now, or is it still there a bit?
The interview process is designed to weed out those that they think they don't have the right mentality towards medicine. So they ask you sometimes what seem to be apparently simple questions, but they are really trying to gauge what kind of person you are. And that is why we have interviews. So you go for an interview. You've got your grades all right. You have an interview, and then they ask you certain kinds of questions to try and to see the kind of person you are and whether they think you can cut it. You can cut it or not. Because like before my time, you enter first year, that's it. Now at least they have a degree after the first 3 years or first 4 years or something. So you can actually stop there and go and do something else if you really think you're not cut out for it. So the interview process kind of weeds out is to help them know the ones that would really they think would do well in medicine.
Now, I'm listening to you. So the first thing I want to find out that how did you survive Kolebu? Because you look like a rebel. You want to do it the other way. You know that in India they did this and it worked. In America they did this.
So
and
why
am I stuck here? I can see Kolebu saying no.
Well, when I was in school, I learned pretty early that something. Do it their way, pass your exam. Because it's a club. And at the end of the day, when you reach an oral exam, they are trying to decide whether you will be a fit member of that club. And if you don't think you are fit, they won't pass you. Our exams, the higher you go, the more it becomes an oral exam.
Okay.
And it can fail you because of one answer. And if he wants to fail you, he knows where to take you. One examiner used to say that too. I took him to the lesser fossa and I left him there. It's part of the brain. And I left him there. They'll just take you. They know where they'll take you to fail the exam. So do it the way. But I was not a rebel per se, but I always felt there's a better way of doing something. And I don't like inefficiency. I find it very upsetting. If there's a better way of doing something, why are we not doing it that way? You understand? So, but wrote the exams, you did what needed to be done. There's some exit questions that I think, why do I need to do this? It's absolutely of no relevance. The time I need to know it, I'll check the book and use it. It doesn't have to be memorized. Mm-hmm. But we are required to memorize it to write the exam, so you did.
I see. And as far as your chosen field, did you know that, well, I'm going to go into medicine and I want to specialize in women's health? Or
I decided on women's health in med school because you do your rotations, you start with medicine and surgery, then you go into you do ONG, then you go into pediatrics, then you do some of the specials, which is ENT, eye. So by that time, you've gone through all the rotations and you have an idea as to the area that you liked. I chose OBGYN because, one, your patients live. I didn't like the whole death business. It didn't appeal to me very, very much. Two, I was able to do medicine and surgery. I would manage a diabetic patient and then I would do surgery to deliver a baby or take out fibroids. So it allowed me to enjoy both sides of the profession. And I felt as a pretty empathetic person. I could appreciate what people were going through and be able to solve their problems rather speedily. So that is what I chose.
Okay, so in Kolebu you were doing that, or was it after Kolebu before?
So I finished med school in Kolebu, and then I went into residency, postgraduate training in Kolebu for 5 years to learn women's health.
Okay. So that's how it works. But I know that personally. I mean, at least once a year or twice a year, you're always traveling, saying, "Oh, these guys are doing this operation this way, so I'm going. These guys are doing operation that way, so I'm going." I mean, I'm still. Why do you do that, if I may ask?
Because there's always a better way. So we are doing something in a particular way. Maybe there's a training program or something somewhere where some expert from somewhere is coming to. There's one early next year that I'm thinking of going. There's an expert from somewhere who's coming to do some particular kinds of surgeries, and you want to watch the way he's doing his surgical technique, and to be able to solve, people's problems. It's like we're working to do. A patient comes to you and says she's bleeding, and then our traditional way of solving it is that cut open the tummy, go in and remove whatever is causing the bleeding. Now, for you to cause bleeding, the fibroid or the mass must be on the inner part of the uterus, which is where the baby sits, the innermost part of the uterus, which is where the baby sits. And sometimes it's really small. And it always offended me that I was going to cut your tummy big to go in, and all the other fibroids by the side were not the cause of the problem. I can remove all the big ones. If I don't remove that small one, you keep bleeding, and you come back and say, I haven't done my job. So I went to learn how to do hysteroscopic surgery, which is keyhole surgery. You get a telescope, small instrument, the size of a pen, pass it through the vagina, through the cervix, into the womb, see the fibroid, cut off that fibroid by shaving. And then you just come out, and the people can go home the next day. And I tell them, if I did for you today, you go home the next day. Some people actually go home the same day, and 2 days later, they are back at work. Their fibroids are gone.
I'm going to take a break, and then when I come back, we'll find out how the dream of Resolve came about. Don't go. Well, thank you very much for staying, and we are having a good chat with Dr. Padi Ayertey, which is, I'm sure he's no stranger to many people. We're just trying to hear his story. But Doc, how did Resolve come about?
When I finished, one of the things I knew was that I was going to go into private practice. So when I finished postgraduate, I was posted to Tema, and the question then became as to, but then I had quite a number of Accra clients. So then I decided that the way I would be able to manage that was to have a small office practice in Accra, so that I'll be in Tema, but I can come and see my clients in Accra. And then so I had to choose a name. So there's a friend of ours who was a marketing specialist, and he had chosen a name for his company and explained the process, how he had chosen that name. So I took the advice he had given in mind, and so when I had to choose a name, I chose it based on those kind of parameters. And then registered the hospital, and then we started building. Originally, the building when we started building, when we actually wanted to start building, was actually intended to be a home, because I had moved they were making a bit of noise about my accommodation, even though my wife was also working, was a senior staff. And I was like...
At the hospital?
At the hospital in Kulebu at that time. So then the question that came was, I mean, if my accommodation was going to be in jeopardy, then I'm not going to live in government accommodation again. Simple solution, you know. That way, I can...
So wife is a nurse?
Yeah, she's a nurse, yes. So then
So your kids are now going to be doctors? Because it looks like...
No. My kids, from the look of things, only one is going to be a doctor. The first one is in med school right now.
So you oh, he's in med school already?
Now, yes.
Also, you got one?
Yes, I got one. The second one is engineering inclined. He's going to do computer engineering.
Mm-hmm. And
the last one he's going to do law or finance or both.
Okay.
So he tends to be more inclined. But when he was like, how old was he? It's a couple of years ago, so maybe 10 or 9. He was teaching his brother the meaning of opportunity cost. when he had never sat in an economics class before.
Wow.
We're trying to explain to his brother, okay, this is what it means. And he gets up and says very slowly, Daddy, let me explain it to him. Then he explained it. He said, do you get it now? I said, yes. So we then said, he who is about 6 years younger than his brother is now the teacher, and he's now the he was a student. So he's most likely going to do economics.
So Grandpa Ayertey's legacy still continues.
Oh yes, it still continues.
Okay.
So then at some point in time, we decided that something, we needed a place to work, and so we then had to do a new modification to the building to be up to code, and then it was redesigned for a hospital. So we changed our mind and then built the hospital.
Okay.
And then from day one, the moment you finish building, started work.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was finished building. So we didn't do half and half. It was sink or swim. Bend the ship, bend the bridge.
Wow.
We are here to stay.
It looks
full commitment.
It looks like. Now, you see, I'm in the media business and my wife is in the media business, so it's very easy to say, no, this show, wasn't right, or this wasn't right. I mean, if both of you are in the medical, I don't know, you didn't give enough paracetamol, or look, you should have given more chloroquine. I mean, how does it work?
They come to these challenges. To speak the truth, I think it works best if everybody recognizes their rules and they kind of stick to it. And if you're able to do that, it's fine. Mm-hmm. If you think something could have been done better, you would suggest that you think, I'm thinking that maybe next time we should consider doing it like this because of this or that. And if it's said well, we should be able to take it on board. Problems come when you decide to say, no, let's do it this way or let's do it that way or that kind of stuff. But it's human beings, we are meant to talk. As long as we are talking, everything is fine. If you stop talking, then there's a problem.
I'm very unconventional and I'm unable to pronounce new words properly. So every time I'm on the show, I'll be getting, wifey as the editor saying, no, it's not pronounced that way. And then she spell it like in 2 letters with dash 2 letters, say it this way. Hey, don't call your guest folks. Don't do I get live updates of correction.
Well, it's an improvement process. So you get even better at your job. And later they people talk about, you're very good at it. And I'm impressed by the way you pronounce stuff. You have no idea. You don't know where I started from.
You see, she's there and she will tell, no, it's not done that way. It's not done this way. Yes. Okay, boss, thank you. So I was just wondering how the medical argument will be on the table. Well, I think you gave too much paracetamol than normal. But how has the result been? Because I know. Well,
we've been in practice for I think since 2009. We started off just as a 6-bed institution. Now we are 19 beds, and I don't intend to go higher for that. That's it. Our focus has always been women's health. I decided that I'd spent too many years specializing to come back and become a generalist. So I just decided on women's health, and that is what we have done. It allows us to be very good at what we do. It allows us to chalk successes almost every time because we are doing the same thing over and over and over again and improving the process over and over again. And so and we are happy with what we do or the job that we are doing. We try to please our clients, and that has generally been our focus.
I mean, and one thing I noticed about you is you're very, I don't know, spiritual. I don't want to say
Yes.
I don't want to say religious. I think spiritual is better. Yeah, I think you're very spiritual.
Yes.
From childhood or somewhere
Oh
along
yes.
the line
I
that
think
you got
I
it?
think God knows how devious my brain is, so He made sure He saved me early. I keep telling people that it's God's own plan for my life, and He's just ensured that it's kept me in check, because you kind of know that I have always strived that you must have a good relationship with God, and I have seen what He has brought me through. I know that He has a habit of kicking me in the butt when He wants me to do something, and He knows that if He doesn't kick me in the butt, I am not going to take that big jump. So I get kicked in the butt, and I'm like, okay, I have to do this now. I'm compelled to do this by certain circumstance. But I've come to now recognize that, okay, that's God's own way of moving me from one level to the next level. And I have faith in the fact that He's got great plans for me. I have faith in the fact that He controls my destiny. And no matter how great my plan is, He always has a better plan. No matter how great my plan is, He always has a better plan. And so if I entrust Him with my life, things will always work out for me.
Doc, you're very spiritual, Christian inclined. I mean, if somebody came to the hospital and was a Buddhist or was a Muslim, I mean, do they get concerned, or I don't know? I'm just asking.
No, they don't, because I would treat them just the same. I believe in this. I believe that I have. One, if I'm doing something stupid, God is not going to come and stop me from doing it. But that is one side of it. But on the other side of it, the God that I serve causes rain to fall on you and I. The God that I serve has laid down certain principles of success. They are godly. They are biblical. If you are a Muslim and you follow those principles, you will prosper. Whether you worship Him or not, or whether you don't worship the God that I worship, you will prosper. If you are a pagan and you follow those principles, you will prosper. So if He allows the rain to fall on your farm and my farm, if He allows the sun to shine on your crops and on my crops, why in heaven's name should I discriminate against you? Am I better than Him? No. And maybe by my service, you may be convinced that, oh, I see God in this gentleman, and I'd like to know more about the God that he serves. So we don't discriminate. Even where we work, we've got people of various, religious persuasions. It's not a problem for us.
No patient has also lifted a finger. They will look, I see too many Bibles and too many scriptures in here.
Oh, no. Look, listen, I'm solving your problem. Whatever method I'm using to solve your problem, as long as your problem gets solved without me harming you, they are very okay with it. We are very okay with it. So, but our objective is, we are just here to do our work. And if I will be able to use the power of God to be able to solve your problem, and you get what you want, and you're happy, and I'm happy, and everybody's blessed because of it, we are very happy. I know that where I've reached in life, it is purely by the grace of God and by His blessings. My job is to work hard and do my best to be obedient. That is the difficult part. The obedient part is what we all struggle with.
Doc, is there such thing as a barren woman?
With the technological options that are available today, almost every woman has an option. The challenge is that the woman herself says, I will not do this. And I'll say it today, everybody has a window within which they can have children. That window is actually quite big, but the methods by which you can have children narrow as you go along the window. So if you are very young, 20, 25, 30, your options are a lot. By the time you get to 35, your options are reducing. By the time you get to 45, reduced even further. And by the time you get to 50, you have got very few options left. But it doesn't mean that you have zero options. Just that the higher you go, the hotter it becomes to your pocket. Because then it costs you more and more money, because now you need more and more technology. But it is possible. And I think it's really important that people should. I try to tell my clients now from the beginning that you've come to me with this problem. These are the options available to you. The later ones, I'm not discussing them with you now. I'm just informing you. You can start reading about it. You can start thinking about it, so that by the time it gets to that point, it wouldn't be absolute, total news to you.
So where does God and the doctor comes in? Do you get that conflict? I get the conflict. How can you be a Christian and be a chief? But Doc, how can you be a doctor and be a woman specialist? Because you are basically, going to make the woman have a baby. You're playing God, aren't you?
No. Okay. So what I can do is to assist you to overcome your challenges. But at the end of the day, after all my technology and all the methods, I've put the baby inside the womb. You understand? If God doesn't water that thing, it's not happening. It is not happening.
It's left to God.
It's left to God. Because when it comes to implantation, we can do everything and get it beautiful. It just may not implant.
So there's still...
Oh, so we are not playing God. We are assisting in the process. We are overcoming challenges. But when it gets to that part...
Concierge.
At the end of the day, yes. At the end of the day...
Room 16.
That's what happens afterwards. It's between you and your God.
I see. Because I was thinking maybe you feel guilty that... So what would you advise? Because a lot of people seem to rely more on prayer.
Well, I think you should do both. I think there are options available to you. You need a new dress. Are you going to sit and pray and expect the dress to fall down? There's a story about the guy who was stuck on top of his building, and they sent helicopters to come and pick him, and he said he's waiting for God to come and pick him. And then he got drowned eventually because there was a flood. And then he asked God, why didn't you come and save me? He said, I sent a helicopter, I sent a boat, I sent this. You were still waiting for me. Who do you think sent all those people to come? We have those options available to us. It is up to us to explore. Some very good friends of mine, and for religious reasons, they are not willing to accept an option which is available to them. And it hurts me dearly, because this is a beautiful couple, and I'd love to be able to do those things for them, but they say no. What can I do? I have to respect them. Because at the end of the day, you have to respect the person's wish. My job is to give you options. Your job is to choose the option that sits well with you. And if he believes that by taking that option it will affect his faith, I can't do anything about it.
No, so let's say it's 8 o'clock in the morning, your phone rang, and somebody on the phone said, Doc, it worked.
It's a joy. It's a delight. I got one of those calls from Egypt recently. It was like, and she couldn't really believe that. It worked, and it's a delight. Our job doesn't end there. The first 3 months are really shaky, so we are spending all our time protecting it. But then it's an absolute delight. It makes all the stress, all the struggle, all the challenges that you've been through to that time worth it.
I'm talking from experience, as you can know, because the desperation, or I don't know what word it is for, a woman to hold her own baby. How do you manage anxieties?
I try and tell them from the beginning that we have a relationship here. Your job, you the woman, is to take your medicine, take your injections, and don't complain about them. The husband's job is to find the money. Even if the money is from her purse, that is his job, to find the money. So I'm not talking to you about money, I talk to him about money. My job is to worry.
So you leave the worry.
So the worrying is mine. I don't need your help to worry. Let me worry. I also try and make them understand that you have a 20 to 30% chance of success every month when you've made everything perfect for you. So it's something just take time. Sometimes you need to just be patient. I try and give them a long expectation that, okay, I think we'll be able to succeed in about a year's time or something, just to make them take some pressure off themselves. The truth is, some people get pregnant the next month. Some will get pregnant a year later, and some will not get pregnant despite your best efforts.
Wow.
But if they're able to have a little bit of patience and a little bit of, they can take their mind off. But if you are worried, you don't ovulate. And if you don't ovulate, you're not going to get pregnant.
So if you're watching, don't worry. So at least you can ovulate.
That's important. It's amazing how around ovulation time, then quarrels happen in people's houses. Just around the time that they're supposed to be getting busy, then there's a quarrel. And that is when somebody has come to say your husband has to travel to somewhere, and some boss has brought some mysterious job that requires your absence. When I hear, I tell them, travel with him. Wherever he's going, you go some. Because we shouldn't miss that time.
That's interesting. Doc, has there been a situation where you thought, look, I've done everything. As for this one, it should have happened?
Oh yeah, you've had occasions where you've done everything. Everything was like perfect, and the patient still didn't get pregnant, and it's pretty frustrating.
Wow.
And those are the points that actually remind you of the fact that you're not God. You can cook everything, but you're not God. You talk to the patient, you reassure them about what the challenges are, and sometimes you give them time off. For the next 2 months, you're going to take it easy. Like this is Christmas. Somebody said, oh, and my cycle has started and blah, blah, blah. Do I need to take medicine? I said, no, this is Christmas. Go and enjoy. I don't want to see you till end of next month. Just take the time off. Sometimes you give them a month off, sometimes you give them 2 months off. And during that time period, they get pregnant. Because they have taken their mind off it. The burden, the pressures are no longer there. And some of them indeed get pregnant. I
mean, but is there any direct, like with stress and...
There's a direct link, but stress affects your hormones. Your hormones determine how you ovulate. So once you are stressed out, you don't ovulate. Once you don't ovulate, you don't have an egg. So the sperm is going to come all right, but there's no egg to meet it.
Wow.
And that's it.
What's the future for Resolve, or what's the future?
For healthcare generally in this country, I can see it's going to move more from the public sector towards the private sector. The capacity for government institutions to continue to run non-profitably is not going to continue for much longer. The demands of the clients are there, but the inefficiencies are too much. I've worked in institutions that if you look at it, things can be really great. I remember a particular occasion when I was in Kolebu. We went on strike for new equipment. We got the new equipment. Then I went to the accountant for the department and explained that we've gotten this new equipment that costs $500,000. We do not intend to go on strike again to get a new batch. They should cost the equipment so that we know how much should be charged on each patient. We're doing 10,000 deliveries a year. It can be paid for if everybody pays a small amount of money. I told the accountant, talk to your boss and let's work this out. He did nothing. So I saw the director of finance and said, boss, has this guy come to see you about this? The director of finance said no. The next day, the director of finance himself came with his team to the department to come and look for me and said, where are the equipment? I showed him, bought the list, look at the prices. We sat down together and worked the pricing of the equipment. A certain amount of money was going to be paid by every patient, and therefore we could replace the equipment every 4 years. As to what happened to the money when it was collected, I don't know. I'm not in that part. But, those things were done. When I was in time, I had the same issues. This is not efficient. If we did this more efficiently, we would achieve a better result. I don't understand why we can be in a sector, especially in the public sector, where demand is so high for services, where we can't meet demand, but we can't pay our bills. It makes no sense.
You can't meet demand.
You can't meet the demand because the volumes are high. So high, and yet you can't pay your bills. It makes no sense. Who worked the maths? How was it worked? It doesn't make sense. And it's an issue we really need to look at and to solve. Solve not from a public health perspective, but solve from a business perspective. How are we going to continue to serve these people in a profitable and a sustainable manner that will ensure that we can get the returns for the investment that we have made?
Is the reality that some people literally are so poor they can't pay?
I don't have a problem with the fact that some people are so poor that they can't pay. But I don't understand why that person who is so poor that he can't pay is having more children than he can afford to look after, creating a burden for the state. I don't understand. We are supposed to have a national population policy, which determines the number of children we should have. We don't talk about it. But we have a situation where we are producing children faster than our resources can cope. And that means we will never solve our problems. It's a discussion that we should be having. If you want to have 20 children, I don't mind. Have your 20 children, but pay for it. It means you are rich. It means you can afford it. It means that we don't need to subsidize you. You have your right to have 20 children, and I have the right not to subsidize it for you. It's not a problem at all. If we are talking about, we are trying to improve services, we can't cope, with the population that we have. Look at our free SHS, look at our schools right now, how crowded they are, and yet you have to pay to get family planning. Why is family planning not an automatic part of the national health insurance? I don't understand. It is cheap, it should be automatic. That if you have a child, we are paying insurance, family planning is part of it. It should be automatic. I don't understand why we should have appeals on TV every day, where we have children under 5, through no fault of them, being critically ill, and parents have to look for money to pay for it. No. Pregnancy is one condition that when you make a woman pregnant, you know that she will deliver in 9 months. The moment she tells you she's pregnant, you've got 8 months to save. I did a calculation. If you are a laborer and you worked for 3 days a month and just kept that money, by the time it is 9 months, you can afford to pay for your wife's delivery in a public hospital. Yes. Hire a laborer at your construction site. Find out how much you are paying him, and you should put that money down for 8 months. And for a lot of public hospitals, he can pay for his wife's delivery. You understand? It's not that he had an accident. But the child who through no fault of theirs is ill, seriously ill, a condition that you just can't get up and fix. We don't have the resources, and they have to come on TV begging for money. If you go to the children's block right now, you see babies suffering from conditions that like just a little bit of effort, a little bit of Tom Brown, a little bit of, treat the mosquito nest, we can actually address those kind of situations and get those things fixed. I don't understand.
If somebody wants to inquire, what number?
Inquire about what?
Somebody wants to inquire if they can get pregnant or they can have a baby.
Okay.
If a safe number.
A safe number. They'll have to call the office line.
Okay.
They shouldn't have to call me. Okay. We can continue this discussion further.
So what's the office line?
Okay, office line 0302
0302
92
60
14.
14. So 0302 926014. You can call that number and you get to speak to doctor. I
always say you can come, you can have a chat, and then I can actually, if it's something that somebody else can do better, I have no problems at all from saying to show you that too. Looking at where you live, I know this person over there, he can solve your problem. I can actually speak to the person for you to get it done. People have problems that need solutions. Unfortunately, sometimes we are not aware of the options that are available, and even in this country. Even in this country, we sometimes think that a lot of things are not available in this country. No, they are. You just need to know the right person. You need to know the right. I have a friend of ours who specializes in cancer surgery. And if you have any kind of crazy cancer, women's health cancer, you go to him, he's willing to do it. That's what makes him happy.
Wow.
If I have a patient of that sort, I just send a patient to him. Because you will get the best care in that kind of service. I prefer other aspects of women's health, minimal invasive surgery, hysteroscopic surgeries. I love that part. Patient came to see me. She's not been having her menses because, and we put a camera, looked inside the uterus, discovered that half her womb was stuck together. And that's why she wasn't having her menses. We went in and with just a scissors, cut open all the part that was stuck together. It moved from a corridor to a full living room. Whoa. Just to give it in perspective.
So, 30 seconds. What is it that the one thing you learned from Kolebu to take to resolve?
One thing. If you solve the client's problem quickly, they will not stay on your word very long. So try and get it right the first time so that they can leave.
Dr. Padi Ayertey, that's been wonderful. But the number is 0302 926014. You can give them a call and why not have a chat with them. You never know, there may be many opportunities that you haven't explored yet. Yes, pray, but by all means, go and see the doc. Doctor, thank you so much. It's been interesting, it's been exciting. It was just my opportunity to get to know him better, you see, because I couldn't go to his office and go and ask him all these questions. So, Doc, thank you so much. Have a beautiful Christmas, and I'm sure the princess will be coming for weighing and checkup very soon.
I'm looking forward to seeing her.
Folks, have a very beautiful weekend and Merry Christmas in advance. Thank you.